Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. Hope everybody's doing well. I have a flyer from Karen Stewart, retired NSA intelligence analyst, hot off the press. So I'd like to read it to you. It's 3 pages long, and let me show you. Okay, let's roll it up here, folks. And I'll start to read. My hands are in the background screaming their little faces. Listen to them. Okay, folks. Let's see where I can go and sit. I'll go sit over here. How's everybody doing? Welcome to my channel, to the newcomers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope everybody's doing well. My name is Lorraine. I moved from Manalapan, New Jersey, in a home I lived in for 30 years. As the original owner, I renovated it top to bottom, and then I found myself in a horrible situation of being stalked by the Manalapan Police Department, harassed, home broken into, new neighbors moving in, gaslighting, theft of property, vandalism to the point of over $300,000, slander campaign, character assassination, neighbors who I'd lived next to for 10, 15 years and more, warred against me, ignored me, harassed me, gaslighting, headlighting, lights brighting, dogs barking, trespassing, lots of theft of personal property, and of course, the blacklisting of my house, preventing it from selling for 3 years. So I moved to remote rural Kentucky. I purchased a farm. I've got a lot of acreage and hens and chickens and stuff. And guess what, folks? Same thing happened here. So on to Karen's always magnificent flyers. The FBI fusion centers. A danger to America. After 9/11, the FBI, The FBI formed a network of fusion centers. At this time, there are about 80 and growing. The theory was that we needed a place to send local and state law enforcement representatives to mingle with federal representatives to fuse information to head off any future terrorist attacks. The fusion centers have existed for almost 20 years and suck up billions of dollars from state and federal sources. Congress has tried feebly to get them to account for the money, but they refuse. In this last 20 years plus, no terrorist has been identified, no terrorist attack plans have been identified, and no terrorist has been arrested. No terrorist attack has been thwarted, much less even discovered. I guess that goes for September 11. I just added that, folks. Recent FBI whistleblower Kyle Sarafin and Steve Friend, among others, have stated that the D.C. FBI field office has ordered FBI field offices to essentially put real crimes on the back burner and fabricate incidents of, quote unquote, white extremism to fit the Democrat narrative that anyone patriotic who knows the Constitution and insists on their rights, like demanding that schools quit sexually grooming their kids, is an example of quote-unquote white supremacy and therefore a terrorist. The FBI was instructed to create false dossiers on these people to pervert the facts, misrepresent, and even blatantly lie about these regular, law-abiding Americans, showing that they were concerned about the erosion of their freedoms and society. This is actually not surprising offshoot of the targeted individual program, run at least as long and with indications it was already under the radar years before. After 9/11, the FBI had mega funding, but no terrorists, as stated above. They decided to create terrorists out of random Americans at first, secretly, of course, so that their false dossiers and lies would not be challenged. Oh yes, folks. Lieutenant Thomas Mantle of the Manalapan Police Department, on an incident report, called me a terrorist threat, displaying disorderly conduct. And actually, when I reported that on my channel, I had other people, other women, come forward saying that the police said the same things about them. These are women in their 60s like me, who were divorced, owned a home and stuff, and then suddenly we become the new domestic terrorists because these jealous, pathetic losers want to profit off of innocent people like myself. So back to Karen's magnificent letter, flyer. So after 9/11, the FBI had mega funding, but no terrorists, as stated above. They decided to create terrorists out of random Americans at first, secretly, of course, so that their false dossiers and lies could not be challenged. Based upon post-9/11 legislation like PAA and NDAA, they just secretly stripped anyone, even secretly accused of terrorism, of all their rights, constitutional, human, and civil. The target was denied their basic constitutional rights, such as the Sixth Amendment, to know if they've been charged with a crime, what it is, and by whom. When FBI fusion centers are sent FOIA requests, they claim to be, quote, privately owned, and therefore not subject to Freedom of Information requests. It is a legalistic sleight of hand to continue defrauding the government by declaring thousands of known innocent people to be suspected terrorists who need watching but refusing to be held accountable for it. Isn't that amazing, folks? Here, let me just scroll up here. However, watching, quote unquote, is not exactly all they do. And if you watch my channel for any length of time, I can tell you that they don't just watch me. And I can explain why they watch everything we do. And they watch everything that we do so that they can concoct their torture program by watching my habits, what I enjoy, what I love, what I buy, where I store it. They can steal it, break it, vandalize it, torture it, rot it, mold it, rust it, scratch it, dent it, burn it. Watching is not exactly all they do. A vulnerable person is identified, most often older women who are single, divorced, widowed, and who do not have a good support network, nor oodles of money to hire a lawyer. Though in recent years, other demographics have been preyed upon more and more, that even include small children, severely handicapped, not to mention veterans listed as threats because they can handle a gun. The surveillance works like this. A false dossier is submitted to the FISA court, which rubber stamps it with a wink and a nod. And though much of the dossier is feeble and outlandish, like saying a phone call received by the target from a North Florida 850 area code is a call from North Korea. The whole country? Because the country code is also 850. Oh, I'm going to tell you what happened to me recently. My daughter, I shouldn't even say this, but my daughter called me from a town called Columbia. I'm not going to tell you where. There's a lot of Columbias in the United States. She called me from the city of Columbia And somebody had the audacity to recode the city of Columbia as Columbia the country and bill me an extra $30 for the call. Of course, I called them. They caught the error and credited me back. But this is exactly what they do. So the surveillance works like this. A false dossier is submitted to the FISA court, which rubber stamps it, wink and a nod, and much of the dossier is feeble. Of course, the FBI fusion center's danger to America of course, no FBI fusion centers are a danger to America. Karen M. Stewart, the NSA intelligence analyst, retired, is one in the line, even if the target answers. So let's see what else we have here. Let me just scroll down here because now this is in a different scripting, and now I can't get this down here. 1 second, folks. I apologize. In addition, the U.S. here. Okay, now this is something that somebody wrote about Karen. The U.S. hero Karen Stewart, NSA intelligence analyst with 28 years of experience, and to many other honest and brave Americans, the Nazi private corporation Fusion Centers, NFCA, named her Miss Nina Sidorova, president of the Northern California Tenant Association, who is a member of 3 human rights organizations and a member of Citizens Commission on Human Rights International, as a terrorist too. They're labeling this lovely woman a terrorist also. She is a person who has helped and is still helping freely low-income disabled people and other people. And she proved in the courts 10 times, that the agents and mercenaries of the fusion centers and their crime partners infrared and paid them neighborhood Nazis are the real terrorists, gangsters, racketeers, sadists, and murderers. She has even submitted to the court photos of some of these fusion center gangsters. Oh, it must be like my neighborhood crime family. They seem to be Nazi terrorists. Infrared, paid for hire, neighborhood, Nazi community watch group terrorists. With the fraudulently attained warrant, the Fusion Center reps called together a large network of civilian vigilantes, paid under-the-table gift cards, internet accounts, and network of Fusion Center local partners who provide goods and services also under the table, depending on what the vigilante does in his service to the FBI Fusion Center. So get this, folks. All of these people that are paid under the table, they are not paying taxes. Maybe we should report them all to the IRS. Maybe they all need to be audited, folks. What do you think? I mean, we hired all those IRS agents. Maybe we need to report all these neighborhood vigilantes for not reporting their income. What do you think, folks? Then they will tell these fascist dupes and fools the false story of what a terrible person their new target is. But there just doesn't seem to be enough proof to bring the person in for questioning, much less arrest them. So it is up to these, what she calls neighborhood Nazis, to quote-unquote deal with them. Up to and including murder. It is essentially a pyramid scheme to defraud the government and share the wealth with the locals so they can have no interest in demanding due process and the Constitution be followed. The vigilante neighborhood Nazis can be recruited by slick-talking FBI Fusion Center operatives through churches, PTA, garden clubs, mosques, temples, any social club or organization. Plus now, there are specific civilian organizations like InfraGard that exist as freelance stalkers for pay, claiming to be neighborhood watch or patriot groups. Yes, their duties are to overtly stalk and harass 24/7, like that piece of crap, and spread fabricated defamation throughout the town or the city to isolate the target from family or friends and turn the local society against him or her such that mere existence becomes hard. Yes, folks, I will attest to that. Thank you so much, Nina, for writing that. That is absolutely beautiful, concise, amazing, and so accurate. And I am so sorry to hear that this terror is happening to you also. Hey guys, I'm trying to speak here. And you're all acting up. Oh yes, and talk about crimes, folks. These vigilantes, they commit crimes to stop crime. They commit a crime to stop a crime. Sort of like I can't even say it. Well, yeah, the Perky crime family. Because the whole family seems to be involved. The husband, the wife, the son. My gate across the street there, that red gate there, that's my second gate. That's actually my third gate. Because the first gate was stolen. The second gate that I installed was torn down in a felony vandalism, but they were never written up. The judge did nothing. The sheriff did nothing. He was never arrested. And then the wife goes up there and posts no trespassing signs on my property, and then also threatens all my workers who work on my property that if they keep working and cleaning my property, that they will be part of her lawsuit. My neighbors, the crime family, Nazi vigilantes. That's right, folks. And so InfraGard that exists as freelance stalkers for pay, claiming to be neighborhood watch or patriot groups. So the civilians are encouraged to make false claims against the person, to get them fired from their jobs, arrested to create a criminal record, or thrown into a mental institution. To discredit their claims and requests for equal protection under the law, police are told to participate or butt out and just make their lives miserable, and preferably under this program to commit suicide. Oh my goodness, all these accomplices to murder. They're accomplices to murder, folks. They consider that the ultimate win. A plethora of protected crimes is planned, executed, and assigned to civilians by the FBI fusion centers, since the targets are now considered non-humans without rights and expendable. FBI fusion centers also partner with military and contractors to use what are considered quote-unquote weapons of war on these targets. Since 2015, many, if not most, have been subjected to electromagnetic weapons attack, like weapons that injured, debilitated our diplomats in their own homes and received severe burns from them, sometimes lethal, from paid and co-opted line-of-sight neighbors using anything from satellite-directed attacks, hijacked cell towers, redirection, to anti-personnel size weapons put in cars to follow them around if they leave their homes. Those with access to these tech are fusion center affiliated, not just neighbors moved in for the task, then moved elsewhere to attack another target when they are done. So bit by bit, this Homeland Security scam is paying Americans to harm, torture, and kill other Americans for an endless supply of money and heinous weapons test subjects. Targets also have been subjected to poisons, gases, and hijacked medical procedures to implant them. Wait, I just missed something. To implant them with transhumanist tech no one in his right mind would agree to. But since Homeland Security has speciously declared them terrorist threats, They are fair game to the military-industrial complex and high-tech entities as well as big pharma.